It is 9 o'clock. Good evening and thank you for being with us. I'm Cordell Wright.
I'm Brian Allen. Robotics programs are becoming more popular year after year across the entire country. And teams in the Dakota News Now viewing area, well, they've had some success.
That includes the Luverne robotics team, who's looking forward to competing on the international stage next month. But they need your help to get there. We spoke with team members in our top story tonight.
Robotics is really an opportunity for the students right now, but students in the future to really explore different areas.
Fun problem solving, or like figuring it out, and it's satisfying to see it get done.
Xander Carbonell is a sophomore at Luverne High School and has been involved with robotics since the 6th grade, starting with the first Lego League.
There's a big leap in between FLL, which is the Lego League, and the big robot over there. Having a lot of mentors around us and a lot of older students to guide you through the process really does help.
One of those older students helping guide others is senior Zoe Berghorst.
The whole competition is just like educational. Like every process of it, you learn something, and the more kids we have going to these events, the more they learn.
One of the biggest accomplishments in robotics is qualifying for the International World Championship in Houston, Texas, a competition that Zoe previously attended for an individual award.
The only thing I could think of is like, I really want my team here. Like, I want to bring my team to Worlds.
Bananas for team 8298.
A goal that has now been accomplished. They received the Impact Award, which acknowledges the work they've done spreading robotics to others in surrounding areas that may be lacking in STEM education opportunities.
We do impact presentations, we go out to the community and host outreach events, but we also go to the state legislator and the national legislator, and we advocate there for different STEM education bills as well.
You can learn how to do like Java, C++, and like actual coding that does something in robotics, which is really beneficial to the kids, which is why we wanted to bring it to our rural areas that don't have it.
While the excitement is high for Worlds, following some pretty hefty damage at their last competition and the high costs of travel, the team that is known as the Banana Slugs needs some financial support to ensure that everybody can go.
The Banana Slugs are really looking to the community to see if there's any potential donors or anybody that seems interested in trying to help a robotics team succeed and make it down to an international competition to represent the Midwest.
Creating the Lego League teams, the Little Robot FTC teams, doing all the work, like staying here until 10 o'clock every night. It's like finally it counted up to something.
The Banana Slugs are always looking for additional students to join their team and mentors to get involved as well. A link to the team's GoFundMe to help support their trip to Worlds is available on the Dakota News Now app.